Okay, excuse me. 7.2. We're going to start talking about matrices. We'll be able to do different operations on matrices, and we will also be able to find the inverse of a matrix. A lot of this stuff, guys, will be done using the calculator, so make sure you have your graphing calculators handy with you for this particular section, and then moving forward as well. So, matrices, okay, a matrix is a collection of data, okay, and they are typically, well, not typically, they are formed by rows and columns. So if I want to talk about the dimensions of a matrix, the number of rows comes first, the number of columns comes second. So if you look at example A here, okay, here is a matrix. It has 2 rows. Notice how 2 comes first, and then 3 columns, and that number comes second. So it's very simple to figure out the dimensions of a matrix. Example B is a 4 by 2, and part C is a 3 by 3. If the number of rows and columns are the same, we call it a square matrix. Okay, so only when it has the same number of rows and columns is it a square matrix. Okay, so we have a problem here where we have matrix A giving the mean SAT verbal scores for the 6 New England states over the time period from 2001 to 2004. Matrix B gives the mean SAT math scores for the same 4-year period. They want to express the mean combined scores for the New England states as a single matrix. So here's what you do. Okay, there's a process here. Okay, you got to enter the matrix. Now I'm going to assume that you all know how to do this, but you know, I don't want to assume too much. What you want to do is you want to hit second, and then I believe it's x to the minus 1. Now that's going to take you to your matrix menu. Okay, you want to arrow over to edit. So you do that. Now it'll take you to a specific matrix. You have to enter the number of rows and columns in individually. So there are 6 rows and 4 columns, so this is a 6 by 4 matrix. And then it's just a simple situation of entering all the numbers into your matrix. Now when you do that, okay, you're going to be entering it in by rows. Okay, so you're going to do row 1 first, and then you're going to do row 2, and so on and so forth. Okay? Now, this first matrix is matrix A. So when you edit your matrix, you're editing matrix A. Now, when you go to do matrix B, you do your second, your x inverse, edit. Now you want to scroll down to where matrix B is and edit matrix B, and then you're going to put in this matrix. Okay? Now, once you've done that, what you want to do is we want to add those together. How do we do that? So we want to go second x to the minus 1 again. Okay, that's your matrix menu. And now we want to name matrix A. So the first option is names. It's highlighted. So we name matrix A. So in your clear screen, it's going to say matrix A. Then you're going to hit plus. Then you're going to go second x inverse again. And then you're going to name matrix B. And then you're going to hit enter, and it's going to tell you what the answer is. Okay, I don't have the answer in front of me right now, but I'm assuming that, like I said, you guys should know how to do matrices and how to enter those in your calculator. Okay, now scalar multiplication. A scalar is a number that you multiply the entire matrix by. So every single number inside the matrix gets multiplied by this one number called a scalar. So you have a consumer advocacy group that computes the mean retail prices for brand name products and generic products at 3 different stores in a major city. The prices are shown in the 3 by 2 matrix. So here they are. The city has a combined sales tax of 7.25%. Construct a matrix showing the comparative prices with sales tax included. So what we want to do is we want to show the price including the sales tax. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply this matrix by 1.0725. Okay? Because it's 100% of the price, and then we're adding 7.25%. of the cost onto it. So we're going to take all these numbers. Whoops, that's a 4. Okay. And then all you do, okay, now what you can do is you can edit, you can put this matrix in as like matrix A, okay, so go in your matrix menu and edit matrix A. It's a 3 by 2 matrix, you put that in, and then when you go to figure it out, what you can do is you can do 1.0725 and then times matrix A. So you can name matrix A, and that'll tell you what your answer is. Okay? And again, you're talking about price, so you want to round to the nearest hundredth. Okay? Product, very simple. You can enter it in your calculator, but notice it says find the product of AB if possible. This is what they're talking about. Matrix A is a 2 by 3 matrix. Matrix B is a 3 by 2 matrix. Notice how the number of columns in the first is the same as the number of rows in the second. For matrix multiplication to happen, these two must be the same. Okay? Now what happens? Your resulting matrix is a 2 by 2. It's these numbers right here. Now, if these two numbers here are not the same, then you cannot do matrix multiplication and there's no solution. So in part B, you have a 2 by 3, and here you have a 2 by 2. So if you look at those two numbers, these are not the same. So there is no solution. Okay? Now, when you multiply, it's very simple. You would just do matrix A times matrix B. And again, we already went over how to edit them and how to name them and so forth. Identity and inverse. Okay, identity is basically 1. So like in a normal number, you'd have a 1. But for an identity matrix, what you're going to have is it's going to be a square matrix. So here, this I here stands for identity, okay? And this is a 2 by 2 matrix. And notice on the diagonal, you have a 1 on the diagonal, the one diagonal here, and then you have zeros here. Notice the same thing here. Okay, you have a diagonal of 1s, you have a diagonal of 1s, and all the other numbers are 0. Okay, so the only thing in your identity matrix are 1s and zeros, and the 1s occur on a diagonal. Okay, now an inverse matrix, very simple. It says prove that this matrix A and this matrix B are inverses. So all you do is go and edit your matrix, go into your matrix menu, put this in, and then name it, and then just put it to the -1 power. Okay, so this would really be A inverse. Now, when you put this in and you do it to the -1, okay, you are going to get this matrix. Okay, so that's how you verify it. Describe whether the matrix has an inverse. If so, find its inverse matrix. It's very simple, guys. Same thing. We want to find A inverse. Okay, when we find A inverse, if it spits out a matrix, the calculator, if it spits out a matrix, it's got an inverse. If it says error, that means it doesn't have an inverse. Okay? And that's it. Okay? Again, I'm assuming that you guys know how to find matrices. We can talk about it in class a little bit more if you want to, but I just want to give you a quick overview of matrices. And again, use your calculator to do this stuff.